Okay, ladies and germs, today it is my intent to broach the subject of ADHD or ADD, which I highly suspect I've had a case of for most of my life. And I also have some opinions as to where I think it comes from. Largely, I kind of think it comes from a child, a young person, being told no too many times regarding pursuing what it is they want to learn about or pursue, because it might be too costly for the parents to afford at that time. Plus, the parents don't take the kids seriously for whatever reason, which is somewhat understandable. I mean, it's probably unusual that a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever, would have some inkling as to what they want to do with their lives at that point, especially if the parents didn't have an inkling at 4 or 5 years old. Why would they think that their kid would? One of the things that kind of led me to thinking about this was I went to my local CVS. I saw this magazine, $15. Why, I remember when magazines were $5. Let's just look at the front cover, which says, Harvard Health Publishing, Your Road to a Better Life. Do you or someone you love have ADHD? Here's everything you need to know. Symptoms and diagnosis, understanding the condition and challenge limits, therapy versus medication, treatments and habit hacks that put you in control, cognitive training tips, diet, exercise, and coping strategies to improve brain health, plus bolster emotional intelligence. So that's what's supposedly inside. This whole issue is dedicated to that. ADHD is not laziness. I agree. As a matter of fact, that's in keeping with my theory as to where ADHD comes from. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or ADD, is attention deficit disorder. My supposition as to where ADD came from is the aforementioned being told no too many times and not allowed to pursue what it is you want to pursue. Anyway, let's read the back here. Know the symptoms, find effective treatments, keep your brain in shape, unleash your potential. ADHD is not laziness. I've heard it described as a response to depression. Learn how to leverage the capacity of your unique brain instead of fighting against it. Yeah, all of this bears out what I'm talking about. What you want to pay attention to is not allowed, so you have to find something that you're not interested in to pay attention to, such as school. So let's read the table of contents here. I'll take a picture of this and put it on screen for you. How ADHD works. What is ADHD? ADHD and your brain. What parents and teachers need to know. Confronting adult ADHD. Causes and risk factors. How does ADHD happen? A guide to mental fitness. Special feature, boost brain health. Symptoms and diagnosis. Could you have ADHD? Common symptoms. Understanding a diagnosis. Living with ADHD. Bolster emotional intelligence, boost concentration, enhance memory, calming your mind. Treatment and coping. Medication overview, considerations and cautions, therapy and behavioral approaches, coping through coaching. Are ADHD and ADD the same? I also snagged a copy of the article that was in fact in a different magazine that talks about ADHD and ADD being basically the same thing. The difference being that ADD was what it was called from 1980 to 1987, and then with additional research, they added the H, standing for hyperactivity disorder. So it's not just attention deficit disorder, but attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. My contention was that ADD really stood for attention distraction deficit. It's not really a chemical biological disorder, but rather a psychological deprivation disorder. Attention deprivation deficit. I remember when the term first came out, my perspective and position was that I contested what they were saying was the origin of it. I kind of think medicine is bogus to begin with. I mean, it's just a profit center. You know, perhaps medicine was started as a means to cure health issues, but greed took over and the Hippocratic Oath became hypocritical. This video is intended to be a review of this magazine, for one thing, and then also the concept of ADHD as well as the concept of ADD, compared to what I think about the presence of ADD and or ADHD in my own personality. Lots of lovely pictures in here. Oh, and here's a guitar player. But of course, what Dr. Zeus has to say about it is, why fit in when you were born to stand out? Yes, I concur. How ADHD works. I think I already told you what I think about it. So rather than just read this whole thing, I'm just going to flip through here so we can look at the photographic evidence of the table of contents. The prefrontal cortex helps regulate executive function. Other brain differences. ADHD stimulant medications work by increasing the amount of brain's chemical messengers. What parents and teachers need to know. Parents can learn tools that help the child develop new positive behaviors. So I'll just flip through here quickly, briskly, so you can see the pictures as to what it represents. Causes and risk factors. I'll read the headlines. It's unlikely there's a single cause of ADHD, but it's clear that the disorder often runs in families. Well, I don't think that's necessarily chemical as much as it is personality retardant. How does ADHD happen? Well, I think it's by virtue of kids being told they can't pursue what they are genuinely interested in. Myths and understandings. A guide to mental fitness. Exercise regularly. Eat a plant-based diet. Yeah, sure. Get enough sleep. 4, challenge your brain. Nurture social contacts. Midlife ADHD coping strategies that can help. Number 6, manage your stress. Number 7, cultivate positivity and identify your purpose. Boost brain health. Keep learning. If you drink alcohol, do so moderately. Maintain a healthy weight. Depression can be a cause as well as an effect of memory problems. And I would even say of ADHD. Treat depression. Don't smoke. Protect your brain from injury and toxins. Sure. Meditate. All good advice. Symptoms and diagnosis. ADHD can interfere with job performance, relationships, and everyday life. Of course it can. Could you have ADHD? Common symptoms, ADHD and sleep problems, understanding a diagnosis. While you may want to self-diagnose, it's essential to see a professional. Living with ADHD, unlock your full potential to live the fulfilling life you deserve. Bolster emotional intelligence. That the same girl? Yes, it is. Okay, so she's a case study. Practice self-regulation, manage relationships skillfully. Boost concentration, that's a good thing. Cognitive control and the prefrontal cortex. Enhance memory, calming your mind. Yeah, I love it. Treatment and coping. ADHD doesn't have to diminish you. Here's how to optimize life with the condition. Medication overview. Long-lasting medications are helpful for symptom relief over long stretches. Considerations and cautions. Therapy and behavioral approaches. Interesting. I guess I kind of want to read this like a book. It may help to regularly meet with a therapist to discuss your symptoms. Neurofeedback. Magazines are probably more often lately resembling books. And the nice thing about them is I think they have more pictures. Coping through coaching, and pictures are worth 1,000 words. And people read less and less, especially printed materials. Coaching strategies. Taking a few moments to get organized will be time well spent. Well, sure, whether you have ADHD or not. Hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed making it. Peach out, peace up. After a while, crocodile, and we'll talk to you soon.